We are heading into a big 5 game weeks that I believe flips the title race and changes FPL. This is key, G. I don't think you even realize how important this period is. And we are focusing on Arsenal because in 5 weeks' time, at the end of November the 9th, Arsenal will be top of the league and you need to have the assets that matter for that game. People don't realize this. People don't realize that Arsenal are about to do this, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. G, we're going to get stuck into Arsenal today. You have some key assets to pick for the Gunners. I've got a couple. I want one more. And everyone out there is wondering who they need. We're going to help them.
Yeah, it's funny because I look at Arsenal and just see things like fixture tickers and go, great fixtures, sea of green, top of the ticker. But you're obviously always looking at any team with not just the FPL angle, but also the football angle. And the football angle is, you're right, with the fixtures they've got and the fixtures Liverpool and Man City have got, you would expect actually in the next 4 or 5 weeks, as you say, that'll be top, which is huge. So who's going to get them there? There are, honestly, we're probably going to discuss 7 or 8 players. And there is I think there's probably a standout 4, but it's do you go double attack or double defense? And then maybe you don't want one of those 4 because there are excellent options outside of that. So yeah, I'm really interested. Part of the reason why I'm wildcarding, and as we record this, I haven't actually hit the button yet, but I'm very likely to go into Friday's deadline stream on Chasing Green Arrows with the wildcard button hit, and I'll show you my wildcard team in that deadline stream.
Yeah.
But it's essentially, I don't have any Arsenal players, and I want the triple up because I don't want to wait 3 weeks to get on the right assets. I want to get on them now because West Ham at home is still a very good entry point.
Okay, so let's start by looking at the lineup that Arsenal picked for their midweek Champions League game, because this is a key indicator and it's something that we have to bear in mind. You look at the lineup, it's good, it's strong, but it doesn't include Saka, it doesn't include Eze, it doesn't include Declan Rice. So this is part of the problem that we've got, again, moving forward. Who are Arsenal picking on a week-by-week basis? Saka needs the rest. Obviously, he's coming back from injury. But the rest of the rotations are going to be slightly difficult to predict as we move forward. And that's one of the key things that we all need to be aware of and address. Odegaard back in the starting lineup. That's key, obviously. Big moment for him coming into that team. And a big moment for Arsenal. Anything stand out to you when we saw those lineups?
I always felt like I've got Calafiori in my UCL fantasy team, and I left him on the bench. I didn't sub him in because I felt like the fullbacks were always going to swap for this game. I expected Lewis Skelly and White to get the start, but Timber and Calafiori have been so good that at the end of last season, everyone thought Lewis Skelly would be the first choice left back this season. I was like, hang on a minute. Don't forget Calafiori, who's like an elite athlete and can do everything. And so far in the Premier League, we've seen like he's just absolutely in the first choice 11. Lewis Skelly can have a great performance against Olympiacos and still not be in the team at the weekend. And the fullbacks, I think, are set for the Premier League. And both Timber and Calafiori are cheaper routes than Gabriel. Eze getting a rest is important. Showing his stock has gone up because, he got 90 minutes at the weekend against Newcastle. Eze, he's worth consideration. Whether he's playing on the left or playing in midfield, I think he's first choice 11 regardless. And then obviously Saka getting the rest. Gyokeres is getting a ton of minutes, but I think
he is.
Arteta doesn't have that many options.
He's playing him into form as well. He has to play him into
form. He needs goals. Yeah.
Now, Rice concerns me. Let's get the fixtures up that Arsenal have got coming up. But I have got a slight concern over Declan Rice, who you see in this image right now. And it looks like, on paper, you'd be like, look at those next 5 games, like leading into the North London derby.
6.
That looks really nice. Yeah, I don't really know. We'll have to wait to see where we are for the Tottenham one. But it should be
3
a good
London derbies in 7, 8 and 9. They don't leave London.
So when we look at these lineups, these fixtures, we've got to consider what I said at the top of the show. Arsenal will be top of the league at the end of game week 11. In that period, Liverpool play Chelsea away, Man United home, Brentford away, Villa home, Man City away. You expect that Arsenal come through this period and I think topple Liverpool in that period. Okay. Now, the problem that I've got is that among these fixtures that you can see on your screen, there are other fixtures which we tend to forget about.
Yes.
They've obviously got the Olympiacos one before the West Ham one. They play Atleti before that Crystal Palace game. They've got Brighton in a League Cup match. in between, and they also have a game against Slavia Prague in the Champions League to coming up. Okay, now it's the Atleti one that does worry me, because
It's
what
at
we're
home
seeing,
though, isn't it? They are at home, which is good.
it's just that Declan Rice left out of the side against Olympiacos. He was also left out of the side against Nottingham Forest, with the Champions League in mind, and only got 20 minutes. Now, what we're seeing then is that he's saving Declan Rice for all the biggest games, which makes me think, okay, so does that mean Declan Rice might not play against Crystal Palace at home if he started against Atleti? Or does he not play Fulham away because he's saving him for that Atleti game? That's something that we will need to think about as we move forward. Declan Rice obviously will be in the team when they play against West Ham at home at the weekend, a big fixture for him personally. But that's why I think this is such a big 5 game weeks, because you go head to head with the Liverpool fixtures, and Arsenal's are better. And right now, obviously, Liverpool on a bit of a wobble, so you never know where they could drop points. And they're suffering injuries to Alisson. And you've also got the extra fixtures, which complicate the simplified version of the fixture list, which we have in front of us here on the screen.
Yeah, I hear. And we know Arteta this season, I think he's wised up to the fact that he's had so many injuries in the past, and he's flogged a lot of players that have played 90. He's got the best squad in the league now, and there's going to be rotation. Fullbacks are a prime example. Against Olympiacos, we've seen White and Lewis Skelly come in. I expect maybe either side of that Atleti game, one of those games, again, fullbacks are both rotated. Who are the set and forget nailed assets in this team? I think Zubimendi, when fit, is the one that plays that holding role week in, week out. And if he's robust enough to do it, great. The centre-backs, clearly, Gabriel and Saliba, when fit, will always be in. Saka, again, when fit, will start every minute. But even Odegaard and even Eze and even Rice, we're going to see some rotation, which is slightly concerning. We can look at the longer view fixtures all the way up into game week 19, and Arsenal are top of the fixture difficulty rater. This is filtered by Fantasy Football Scouts difficulty rater by attack. So the best attacking fixtures between now and game week 16, Arsenal. So it's not just even to Tottenham. Even after that, Chelsea, Brentford, Villa, Wolves is fine. Like, you want to be on 3 Arsenal, but the big question will be double attack or double defense. And when I just to address double attack versus double defense, attack clearly has the bigger ceiling, but defense comes probably with more consistent returns because there's going to be a lot of 6-pointers. My only problem with double defense, let's say you go for, I don't know, Calafiori and Gabriel. These guys aren't going to get a huge amount of DEFCON points. Are there other cheaper defenders that can bring you up with their DEFCON? Fewer clean sheets, but get quite close. There's very few midfielders, for example, that can match a Saka. So I think I like double attack if it's Saka and Gyokeres, but obviously it's punty because they're so reliable defensively. I mean, should we talk about Raya, Dean? Like, how do you feel on Raya? Is he the best goalkeeper to buy, or do you save money and go to a Petrovic at 4.5 or a Pope at 5?
Yeah, well, I've got Petrovic, and to be honest, I'm happy to stay with it. I do have some regret over not picking Raya when I wildcarded, but now that I haven't done that and I've got Petrovic, I'm kind of happy to stick with it. And I've just got to decide if my third Arsenal asset is going to be a defender or if it's Saka.
Yeah, I think if I wildcard, I'm going Pope. I look at Pope, third there in the ticker, and Petrovic again, great. And because Dubravka exists, the 4 million option, there's always fine rotation. So, yeah, I think I'm okay about going with that, right? Obviously, Arsenal don't concede that many shots. So you're not going to get the big hauls from a Raya. It will be rare you get bonus points from Raya, and it'll be rare you get many save points. Nick Pope, however, much better chance, and Petrovic, of bonus and save points. So the haul potential is there. Let's talk defenders, Dean. Is it just a case of spend extra on Gabriel? It's hard to ignore him. West Ham concede a lot of goals from headers at set pieces. It's going into, obviously, the West Ham match this week.
Yeah, obviously, like, that is my big consideration. 6.2, it's not ideal because I don't have a premium defender. So, like, that's a difficult one for me. Mascara, I'm coming up the cheapest there, and I don't really like him, to be honest with you. Like, I don't trust him. I think if there's a mistake, often it looks like it might be him. And obviously with the rotations and stuff like that, I don't really see him as a good FPL pick. So I'd like to preferably go somewhere in between, but at this stage, I don't know where I'll land.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to be going for me, Gabriel, just as a long term. Forget about it. It's the goal threat more than anything. He has
Yeah,
got
fair.
left on a couple of times too, but I genuinely think if you can't reach Gabriel and you can get to a Timber, I would do it. And Calafiori is also great, but I just prefer Timber probably because of Calafiori's injury record. Timber's been brilliant at right back, and I don't think you have to worry about Skelly and Ben White at the moment. Like these two are first choice fullbacks. That's clear.
Yeah, fair.
Midfielders is where it gets fun because I think we all think like, oh, it's just in years gone by, it's just been Saka or no one. But actually, Zubamendi for what you get at 5.5 because of DEFCON's great. Rice we've discussed and is clearly dynamic. And you get the box to box and you get a lot of the set pieces. I want to talk about Eze. Like at Crystal Palace, 7.5, we loved him because he was on everything. At Arsenal, he's not going to always be on the set pieces, often not. He's not ever going to take a penalty, and he's not always going to play 90. But he is in a team that will score more goals. He's looked really good, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It's just a case of where he's going to play in that lineup. Is it going to be on the left? Is he going to get those minutes inside? Prefer him when he's in the 10.
Yeah,
But
instead of Odegaard.
yeah, but now that Odegaard, the fact he came into the Champions League game, they want to get him out there as often as possible. But they are going to have to manage his minutes. So it's tricky to know who's going to play when out of those two, because I do think throughout those fixtures that he's going to have to manage them carefully, and you want to get both into form as well. So while you might assume, well, he won't play Odegaard in Prague against Prague or something like that. Well, he might. It might just be that in that moment he needs an uplift in how the team's feeling, and suddenly does feel a stronger team. So that's going to be tricky. I mean, I want to try to get to Saka personally. The best way I could get there, perhaps the only way I would get there, would be to leave Salah out. It would be transferring away from Salah to get to Saka, which doesn't feel like a risk at the moment, but wasn't really what I had planned when I wildcarded. So that's the main reason I'll have considerations around it. But obviously, I could sell Salah, bring in Saka, and have almost 5 million in the bank.
Yeah, that Saka versus Salah question I think is really big. I don't think we were talking about that a week ago, but because Saka went to Newcastle and we didn't know how fit he was, it was a bad fixture for him. But now I feel like that's turned and it's like, oh, midweek rest in the Champions League, live up for Saka and for Salah, but Salah playing in a team that something's not quite right in their attack. So yeah, interesting one. I think a lot of Bruno Fernandes owners might be looking at him going, switch him across to Saka.
Yeah,
and I like covering that price point in midfield because if it's not Bruno or it's not Saka, after the international break, it might be Cole Palmer we look at. Look at Chelsea fixtures. So by having a 10 million midfielder in there, I feel like it will make those options easier. Guys, we would love you to hit that like and subscribe button today. If you've enjoyed this video, any bit from this video, like if you've got anything from it, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, hit the like button, and see us for our deadline stream on Friday, which I think will be at 3:00. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's talk Gyokeres. I don't mind that he's not been scoring that many goals. Like I think his work rate's been great. The underlying data's getting better. He's getting 90. He's looking fit. And he is a flat track bully. Like we saw him haul against Leeds and return against Forest. They're the sorts of teams we kind of expect him to score. And I think he'll score against the teams he's expected to.
Well, if you've had him up to this point like I have, you definitely stick with him for this period because this is where you hope the goal glut comes and he starts banging them in. And whether they're tap-ins, whether they're physical drives that he's making himself towards the corner of the box and he's smashing one in, I don't care how the goals come. But I am expecting over the next month to 6 weeks that this is the period that Gyokeres really finds his feet in the Premier League and starts scoring a bit more frequently. And just plays with a bit more conviction. I wasn't put off, as I've said all along, by the first couple of performances because I can see that he's trying to get into the patterns of the play, the flow and the rhythm of the team. It's not easy. He's going into one of the best football teams in the world, and he's got to get in tune with all of them. And now he'll have the opportunities to do that. He's been playing with lots of different people so far, and he hasn't had just a solid system to fit into. And he's been waiting probably for Saka to come back to understand how he's going to fit with him. We're going to start to see that too. Saka back, Odegaard back. That should unlock an even better version of Gyokeres, which should lead to more goals.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just an easy one with the fixtures. That is long term, and we think he'll be on penalties too. Like I do think he'll probably take pens over Saka.
He was
Guys,
going
that's
to
been
take that
awesome.
one the other day, and I was annoyed when the VAR cancelled
Yeah,
out that pen because he didn't pick up. I think Saka picked up the
Saka was
ball
holding the ball, but they pass it a lot at Arsenal.
and he pointed. Someone went over to him. Might have been Zubamendi. Someone went over to Saka and said
Saw
something to him
that.
while they were doing the VAR, and Saka pointed at Gyokeres, who was standing near the penalty spot. So Gyokeres was going to take that pen. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. Guys, we love these shorter videos. If you want to see more or got any ideas for them, drop a comment. But for now, on your way out, hit those buttons and we'll see you on Friday.